Okay, no.
Thank you, everyone, for coming to Sound Effects Showdown. The only Google Hangout on the internet where we play stuff back to back.
Oh, this is a great start. This isn't going to be good at all.
We also need to say, in honor of our fallen friend Marcus Shadow, who sadly passed away today.
The 21 gong salute.
Yes.
He was buried in cement.
Yes.
The problem is, like, if he actually did die, no one would know because we would just make a joke and they'd be like, "Oh, he's not really dead," and they'd be like, "No, he really is." And they'd be like, "Oh." We'd probably still laugh. We'd be jerks.
Even worse, imagine if he passed away today. And no one realized.
And we didn't know, yeah. Oh my god.
His poor parents tune into the podcast to see the hobbies he'd got. He passed away today.
But the market spirit lives on in all of you.
Basically turn this into the Benoit Raw. Next we got WXL, we're acting like that episode never happened. We're fucking burying that shit.
Yes. But yes, it is once again WXR Weekly Wrestling X-Pound Radio podcast, and
is that WXRP?
WXRP in the morning.
Cincinnati.
Yeah. Sorry, I slipped out. But yeah, we're trying something a little new. So we're gonna have me host, and then we're gonna have different correspondents. Marcus Shadow, if he's not dead and decides to show up other weeks, he'll be the Raw correspondent, and then the news and main event will cut over to Jim for that stuff, and we'll of course discuss these afterwards. Once each point is made, we're just gonna have set people, and then last and certainly not least is Mole with the Total Divas and NXT news and stuff. So,
although it's worth pointing out, mine is the UK broadcast of NXT and Total Divas, which means I am behind.
Oh, is the NXT actually behind? I wasn't sure.
NXT is about a month or so behind, I think.
Oh, okay.
And Total Divas is like an entire season behind because you're on season 2
now.
Yeah. And on the off shot,
because they have to translate it like games, where they have to.
Exactly, they have to dub it over. Also, on the off shot that anything relevant happens on SmackDown, whoever wants to bring it up can, because really, when does anything relevant ever happen on SmackDown?
Like 13 years ago.
Exactly. So anyway, would you like to turn it over to me, Richter?
Yes, we are going to start with, since Marcus isn't here, we're going to go over to Jim for the Raw report. So take it away, Jim.
Ah, the Raw report, right. That was the name of the very first show that ever existed in the old Wrestling X-Pound. Very nice.
Oh, yeah. I'm bringing it back.
The original Raw report. Retro, there you go. All right. So for the Raw, Raw, of course. Yes?
You need to make it like Marcus, more Asian.
Faster, more Asian. That's my stage direction.
Faster, more Asian. There you go.
That should be his shirt. Marcus's shirt.
Yeah. Faster, more Asian.
Oh man, this is what happens when people don't show up. We just are merciless to these people.
Yes.
Yeah, and you'll notice we're joking about this one, on when we were unfortunately dicks to Jim. Marcus did let us know he's obligated with a family thing.
Yes.
They're probably been deported or something.
Nice.
Alright.
Oh, I like it.
Alright. On to our Raw reporter. Okay. Of course, the opening of Raw was a promo by the entirety of the Authority, coming out to the ring together. And I will say, I kind of liked the promo until the commentators and everyone else killed it throughout the rest of the night. But basically, the promo involved the Authority coming to the ring, and Triple H and Stephanie, between the two of them, and Randy Orton did one of them, basically talking about each match at SummerSlam that was scheduled, hyping up that match, hyping up how the members of the Authority were going to win their respective matches, and how each of those matches can be viewed on the WWE Network for just $9.99. To the point that by the end of the promo, Triple H was just holding the mic up and the audience was just filling in the $9.99 themselves, which is kind of sad. So, basically, it was funny and while they were doing it in the opening promo, when the commentators kept doing it all night and whatnot, it kind of killed it. But overall, I thought it was kind of a funny promo, and it was a good way to, get the hype the SummerSlam matches and also promote the WWE Network. Had they not killed it the rest of the night, I would have said, oh, that's a funny thing. And they could have brought it up like once a show as a running thing of like, oh, that would have been a funny and a good way to get people to remember it.
I don't actually want this to happen, but I think it'd be funny if that replaced What or Yes. That was like the next one. So whenever there's a break in a promo, it's like, Bray Wyatt. And you hear, $9.99.
That would be amazing.
Next week at SummerSlam, $9.99. They put it in the game. Sorry, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I like it as long as they also add all-you-can-eat shrimp at the end of it.
Yes.
Cards against humanity reference for the win.
It's a back and forth one like the Let's Go Cena Sucks. There's $9.99. All you can eat shrimp. $9.99. All you can eat shrimp.
Yes. Or they mix them all together. All you can eat shrimp. What? $9.99. Yes.
We've just made the greatest and most terrible thing that could ever be chanted.
Pretty much.
We love all you can eat shrimp. Cena sucks.
Yeah. All you can eat shrimp. What? $9.99. Let's go Cena. Yes, Cena sucks.
Okay, now it's getting ridiculous. Moving on.
Yes, I know.
You killed it, Richter. Congratulations.
I know. I WWE'd it.
You did. Anyway, so that was the opening promo. Like I said, it was funny. I really I was laughing at Triple H, honestly, until they kept doing it throughout the night. And I'm like, okay, now you're kind of drilling it into the ground. Good job, guys.
Yeah, but I would also argue, wouldn't that be the purpose of it? Because obviously with Triple H being in charge and the commentators doing it, the whole purpose was to keep drilling it in. Because unfortunately, while it was overly annoying, and while it was overdone, the fact we were just joking about it means we all know the exact price of the WWE Network.
That's true.
And that is one company, apparently.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
WWE
right.
now for closure.
Yep. So, yes, that was a fun little promo, and it worked. It was effective. And of course, they're trying to hype this up because they're currently at about 700,000 network subscribers as of their last reporting, as would have been mentioned on last week's show had I shown up for it. And in addition, of course, coming before the end of the next week or two here will be the international launch of the WWE Network in all the countries except the one where Mole is, pretty much. That'll come in October for our UK listeners.
Sometimes you save the best till last.
True. So they're hoping to really hype that up so all the international viewers will jump onto the network and they can hopefully get to that 1.5 million that they need to actually break even and start making money.
Yeah. They may have a major issue when they actually come here, in my personal honest opinion.
What's that?
Because over here we have Netflix. I know you guys do. We have Amazon Prime streaming as a standalone thing. We don't have to just buy Prime. And it costs the same as Netflix. And we have Sky Now, where you can also, if you're a member of Sky, you can also pay like a monthly fee and get some movies and stuff and all that through them. Which means, and the market for all of those is so close that, you know what I mean? I feel it's going to be hard for another person to just get in there, but it's also possible. Also, hello, Marcus.
Hello.
If it helps, Marcus, in this podcast, we mentioned your family was being deported. Jim did an Asian impression, and we said you died and then gave you a salute of...
Mm-hmm. And Richter mentioned that you were encased in concrete.
Yeah.
Where the hell did concrete come from?
And available now on eBay for just $9.99.
Who thought that basically the entire episode of Raw was one 3-hour-long Ron Peel infomercial?
We were just speaking about that. You timed your arrival correctly.
We also mentioned, Marcus, we've officially changed the format.
I
Big
noticed. I was listening from the beginning. I guess it started like 10 minutes late, but whatever.
Well then, feel free to take over the Raw reporting duties if you so desire.
It started
I have no idea
a
what
little
happened.
late because we decided to wait a little bit just in case you were able to make it.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Well, in that case, I will continue with the this week's substitute Raw reporting duties.
Yeah, I wasn't impressed with Raw, so I took like no notes because I was like,
Fair enough.
I took the Stacy approach. It existed.
Fair enough. I just went through before we started recording, and I just noted some things. But
Fair enough.
the next thing to mention, we had a visit from Oklahoma Sandow. Yeah, I will say it was clever to use the Sooners because people love JR, and therefore the Sooners is something that you don't normally get a boo for, but the fact they pulled it out there in Texas was clever. And that was an excuse for Mark Henry to come out for a match and just squash him, because Mark Henry hasn't been around in a while, so. Mark Henry got TV time, I guess that's a good thing.
Based on how fat Mark Henry is, I say he's been around for a long time.
What is that, Iceland?
Hasn't Mark Henry been on like SmackDown though? Like doing matches on SmackDown?
Does anybody watch SmackDown?
It's still TV time.
I occasionally watch SmackDown. He's probably been on main events and stuff too.
Fair
Maybe
enough.
he was at the all-you-can-eat shrimp. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
All you can eat shrimp, $9.99. Anyway, we of course two decent matches, or was one decent match and one gimmick we had on Raw. There was a beat the clock challenge that was announced at the opening of the show, where Dean Ambrose fought Alberto Del Rio and Seth Rollins fought RVD. The winner in the fastest time was to determine who would choose the stipulations for the match at SummerSlam. Ambrose managed to finally defeat Del Rio in 15 minutes and change. And it was a rather impressive match between both men. Actually, a pretty good match. Which was followed up later in the night with the Rollins versus RVD match, which didn't start right before RVD was promptly replaced by Heath Slater.
Oh.
However, while the match was occurring, as they were going back and forth, which it could have been a competitive match between those two dudes, as this was occurring, Dean Ambrose hopped out of the crowd and began doing obscene things to Seth Rollins' briefcase over by the announce table, including ripping up the contract into pieces, filling the briefcase with what did he put in there? He poured some guy's soda from the audience in there. He poured some popcorn in there.
Soda, popcorn, and
JBL's hat.
JBL's hat.
He put JBL was not happy about that either.
Basically, he became the male Alicia Fox.
Yeah, pretty much. And basically, this is a distraction allowed Heath Slater to get 2 near falls and then finally a pinfall. Thus, Dean Ambrose has the ability to choose the stipulations for his match with Rollins out at that their SummerSlam event.
Which I'll say, overall, the interference, I thought it was a little, you know what I mean? It wasn't as good as it could have been. He could have interfered in a much more spectacular or much more impressive way than that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The only part that made it good was I liked the fact JBL was actually angry towards him because of what he did to his hat.
The hat made no sense.
Also, yeah, that was kind of random. But also, if anybody's wondering,
the soda and popcorn doesn't make sense. If you've taken the contract out and ripped it up, he doesn't give a shit about the briefcase.
Evidently he did because he was all
contract.
Apparently he did care about the briefcase because throughout the course of the match he was getting all distracted by it and then came out and threw a goddamn hissy fit about how wrecked up his briefcase was.
Yeah, but he also got distracted by the hat. What's your point?
True.
But I was saying,
my point is Seth Rollins has ADD? I don't know.
My point was, in terms of what makes logical sense, the briefcase doesn't, because it's the contract that matters, not the briefcase. And the briefcase was just given to him I don't mean handed to him, but I mean anyone who won would have had that same one. I would have understood if that had been like Rob Van Dam when he won Money in the Bank, because he customized the briefcase, so it was like his actual property.
Yeah, or like when they did it to Sandow.
Yeah, but with this one, it's like,
You just have to remember, this is WWE. What is logical and makes sense has no bearing here.
Kind of like Power Rangers.
Pretty much. Also, in case anybody was wondering, because I know we don't watch SmackDown and talk about it, but if you're wondering, on SmackDown, Dean Ambrose did announce that his match with Seth Rollins at SummerSlam will be a lumberjack match.
he should have made it a lumberjill match.
He should have.
Yes.
then Alicia Fox could have shown him how to properly destroy other people's property.
Yeah.
Anyway, so moving on with the Raw reporting here. Like we said, so Heath Slater got the win over Rollins, so Ambrose chose the result. We followed this up with some couple of shitty matches that we're not going to talk about, but then we had Bo Dallas versus R-Truth, which was not a bad match. Bo Dallas gained a victory. And then,
I do like Bo Dallas matches.
Yeah. He gained a victory and he took R-Truth out on the outside, which was pretty cool.
It's also worth noting, he took R-Truth out on the outside after R-Truth tried to sneak attack him. Everyone seems to gloss over the fact R-Truth attempted a sneak attack. R-Truth attempts a sneak attack, Rick. Literally, from behind, he tries sneaking, literally attacking him. Bo Dallas manages to turn it round and beat him up, and the end result is the commentator is like, "Oh, that was kind of despicable the way Bo Dallas did that," and I'm like, he was defending himself from a sneak attack.
True, but in all fairness, R-Truth had every right to sneak attack it when Bo Dallas only won the match because he held on to R-Truth's tight.
Nope, no, he did not, because he still won the match. If you were to go to the WWE documents, whatever you want to call it, the achieves, and basically open it up and look inside there, it will state Bo Dallas has a victory over him. I'll not say how. The fact he did that means he's just a sore loser. It's all fair unless the ref sees it.
Fair enough.
Plus, we like Bo Dallas.
Fair enough. Let's see, following this, I should also mention earlier in the evening, there was also, well, I don't really care about either of these dudes, there was a very well-done video promo for the Brock Lesnar-John Cena feud, in which they had segments of interviews with both of them. Well, to be honest, I don't care that much about that match, because I don't care much about either of those two dudes. That was a pretty well-done video promo thing.
I will admit, I care about that match just because it's either going to, and I don't mean to say it like that, it's either going to be one of the biggest mistakes WWE ever makes, by putting, like say if Cena beats him again, or it's going to be one of the best things WWE could do if they do what I've been suggesting and put the belt on Brock until WrestleMania and have Roman Reigns win the Royal Rumble, because that would be massive.
That would be massive.
Which means they're probably going to keep it on John Cena.
Mm-hmm.
Because as current events have shown, yeah, WWE doesn't really care about making money.
Clearly
no,
but
they care about making $9.99.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the other thing is, the fact of the matter is, we know that the new WWE logo officially kicks in the night after SummerSlam on Raw. The new, if you don't know, Richter, they're using the new point logo from the network. That's going to be the new logo across the board for everything.
Okay.
And they will be introducing a new WWE title with that logo on it. So it would make sense if Brock were to win that he would take Cena's crappy title and get rid of it and introduce the new title with the new logo as the new face of the WWE type deal.
What do you mean Cena's crappy title? That's a nice-looking title. The hell
What do you mean? What do you mean crappy title? It's the exact same title with a different logo.
I'm not saying I think it's crappy. I'm saying Brock Lesnar would call it crappy.
But I will say, like I said, I don't like the scratch logo. I've never liked that. I do like the more straight version we got now. It's a similar concept, but it looks more pleasing and nice. It doesn't look like someone's just scribbled it in a second. Mm-hmm. It's like, that's kind of cool. I like that.
You can't talk about how much you like straight things. You're offending our big gay audience. Hi, Simon.
Sorry, Marcus. I'll take it back.
Fuck you.
We also got.
We killed you. We deported you. We were racist to you. The only thing we didn't do was out you.
Yeah, you're an asshole.
We also had a match where Chris Jericho fought Luke Harper, and after defeating Luke Harper here, along with his victory against Eric Rowan last week, Chris Jericho is now guaranteed that those two men will be barred from ringside for his match against Bray Wyatt at SummerSlam.
Which means Bray will probably win.
More likely than not. So that's the thing. That's a crappy match that nobody cares about. Bo Dallas, which we talked about. RVD Rollins thing we talked about. And, of course, we ended the night with a contract signing between Stephanie and Brie Bella for their match at SummerSlam.
What about the AJ Page bit?
Oh, I skipped the AJ Page. Sorry. I skipped over it. I apologize. Scrolling back. Where the hell is it?
Sexist cough.
I'm trying to find it. I don't even see it in this recap.
Fair enough. And let's just go with the contract signing. Contract signing. It'll move this along. Contract signing.
Fair enough. Oh, also there was a Rusev Swagger thing where Swagger got beat up and assaulted with a flag, which I now want as a weapon in the game. And for some reason, he didn't beat up Zeb Coulter. I don't really get why Lana stopped him. But anyway,
They respect their elders.
evidently. Oh, I almost forgot to mention that we also had Adam Rose looked into the Oculus mirror and saw a lemon.
He
Yeah,
did, and
himself.
it was awesome.
That was himself in a suit, which I don't know about you, Mole, but did he look awkward in a suit to you?
I think he was kind of supposed to.
Yeah, that was the kind of the point.
Yeah, I think he was meant to look awkward in the suit because it's not him, and I'm like, that's kind of awesome. I did, as much as the segment made no sense, it made as much sense as back when Randy Orton was seeing visions in his head that Undertaker put there. We also saw them.
It made
But
sense because they're trying to promote the Oculus movie, which is being produced by WWE Films, and I guess that's how the Oculus mirror works.
Yeah, it makes sense with outside stuff. Like, that made sense because they were feuding Orton with Undertaker. It just doesn't make sense when you think about it in a logical type way, if that makes sense, because we shouldn't be able to see these illusions. We shouldn't be able to see this stuff. So it doesn't make that sense, but it was funny. They've done this before, and it's funny.
Mm-hmm.
See, I don't think it's the same thing because you've never seen the movie, and I've never seen the movie, so we don't know how it's supposed to work. My assumption is that's exactly how it's supposed to work. You're supposed to be able to see the illusion.
Yeah, they are. We're not supposed to be able to, because based on the fact no one else in the room with him saw it, but yet the camera people and us did, how does that make sense?
But that's like the same. That's probably like the same thing as I'm sure if you watch the movie, they're probably not gonna have somebody seeing something else. You're gonna see what they're seeing in the mirror. It's not just gonna be them seeing it. The audience will see it too.
Yeah, and in a movie that makes sense because we're seeing what they're seeing because of how movies are structured. Wrestling is supposed to be presented as if it's real, and what we see with the cameras is supposed to be what actually happens.
Because a 70-year-old woman actually. Because a 70-year-old woman actually gave birth to a hand, and the current COO of the company actually molested a corpse.
That's what I was on about with the fact. That's what I was on about with the fact they've done stuff that doesn't make sense before. But in terms of wrestling, it's not the same thing. It's like the same logic of Star Trek doesn't make sense with wrestling, and vice versa. No rock bottom in space. Fuck you, Voyager. But yeah, that doesn't make sense. The same logic should not apply to either. They're different types.
I don't know. Anyway, back to the final segment. Brie came out with Nikki by her side, and Stephanie came out with Triple H. Michael Cole was the moderator for this little contract signing. And basically, Stephanie and Brie were back and forth cutting promos on each other that were pretty good. And it ended with Brie basically saying that what she's doing is for Vicky Guerrero, it's for the Big Show, the Rhodes family, and everybody else. The Authority is humiliated, and Stephanie's humiliated. She calls her a piece of trash, etc., etc. Stephanie says that
repeat what she's been saying since the beginning of the feud.
Pretty much, Stephanie goes back with, "I'm a fourth generation McMahon. I'm better than you. People care about me in the match. Nobody cares about you. You don't have a name here. Blah blah blah. You stop using me to make a name for yourself, etc., etc." She's going to tear her heart out. So, anyway, Stephanie then signs the contract and hits Nikki in the face with the contract clipboard as Triple H then grabs Brie, pulls her aside, and pins her in the corner with the desk that they were just... A very nice desk, by the way, not even a crappy table. It was an actual nice, like, mahogany-looking desk. And pins her in the corner with it. She's sitting in the chair, and then he pushes the desk back and pins her in the corner.
Wrong. He didn't grab Brie. He just pushed the desk back. Like, basically ran against the desk, pushing Brie back with the desk until they hit the corner and she's still in the chair.
Okay,
he never put his hands on her. Because that would be illegal.
Technically, what he did would be illegal.
Mm-hmm.
If you assault someone with a weapon, it's still illegal.
Well, it wasn't an assault. It was just trapping her because he didn't actually hit her at all. He didn't assault her. He just pushed her into the corner. And technically, what he did made no sense because, as you pointed out, she could have just got out of the ring.
She could have, but I was saying, in terms of the law, the fact he used a table and pushed her with physical abuse, and it was enough to send her backwards. It was still assault, technically.
It does still illegally constitutes assault. But anyway, while he had her pinned there, he made her watch as Stephanie beat the crap out of Nikki and then hit her with a pedigree. and then basically mock her, at which point Triple H was kind of laughing and thought it was awesome, and he took his hands off the desk to celebrate with Stephanie, at which point Bree smacked him in the face and jumped out from behind the desk.
Yeah,
Only to get pedigreed himself.
with the joke I made, Rick, of Brie Bella is officially more powerful than CM Punk.
Yep.
How does that make you feel? The reason I say he's more powerful is when Triple H was feuding with CM Punk pushed Triple H, and Triple H barely moved, and he managed to. I mean, Triple H pushed CM Punk, he went fucking flying across the ring. Brie hits Triple H once, and he goes almost halfway across the ring towards the other turnbuckle. I was like, okay, then she's meant to be that powerful. Okay.
Yep. And it was
She had an
ironic.
Infinity Stone.
Yeah.
There you go.
No.
It was ironic.
You have to remember who's boning her. Remember, part of him is now inside of her, therefore she's inherited his superpowers.
Oh, is that how that works?
Yes, that's how that works.
Yes, except you've got the wrong ballot, dipshit.
No, he has the right
No,
one.
that
'cause
was
Super
Brie.
Brian.
Yeah.
Yes, but the guy with the superpowers is John Cena, not Daniel Bryan.
Daniel Bryan's been the one with the superpowers when he was the face of the company and was like literally injured. Then suddenly he's got an injured arm. Suddenly he's jumping up and down, his arm flipping up, jumping, doing knees and no selling, everything worse than Cena.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a
know.
Daniel Bryan fan, even I have to agree with that.
Yeah, but yeah, anyway, it was ironic because Triple H took his hand off the desk to do a mock yes chant, and that's when he got hit. And then Brie Bella jumped out, got pedigree by Stephanie too, and the show ended with the Authority standing over the Bella twins.
Yeah.
Doing the
mocking
yes
them
chant.
and doing the yes chant.
I will also point out, I also like Daniel Bryan. I just didn't like him when they pushed him that way. It was the booking I hated.
I have to admit, I was impressed with how well Stephanie did the pedigree, since she hasn't done that in how long has it been, Richter? Like 10 years since she's done that move?
Longer than that.
When was their last kid?
15?
Ba-doom.
But yeah,
Yeah, it's been a while.
I'm surprised she was able to do it well enough that they cleared her to do it to somebody in the ring. Then again, given who she's married to. Like, honey, this is how you do the pedigree, remember, don't snap their neck.
Hmm. I don't know. Anywho.
Honey, and she returned to favour of honey, that this is how you act as bait for Macho Man.
Ouch. Also, and I don't know if Mole will agree
Oh
with this,
yeah.
but it kind of makes me sad that watching Stephanie do the pedigree and do the stuff in the ring, the fact that, at least from what little bit I saw, it looked like she had more talent than about half the Divas roster. Because the pedigree looked crisp.
I disagree with that, because one move accurate doesn't. When the other ones do multiple moves accurate, they just don't do a load of other ones accurate. You can't complain compare the two. That's like saying, oh, Hugh Jackman did a punch to Dolph Ziggler. It looked like a really great punch. Therefore, he's now better than Ryback. Until we actually see a full match, we can't compare, sadly.
I don't know.
Although I would say he's better than Ryback.
Mm.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Hornswoggle was better than Ryback.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I'm expecting the Brie Stephanie match to not be that good, because even back in the day when she used to wrestle Trish and shit, she was never good. But that's more like the Vince versus Austin style matches of it's basically going to be an excuse for Brie to humiliate Stephanie.
I would say, that's probably what's going to happen. I would say, yeah, she wasn't that good back in the day, but conversely, now she's in far better shape physically now than she was back then. And I think if she had some proper training, which again, given who she's married to, I would be surprised if she didn't have some decent training. I think she could probably put on a decent match.
See, I don't, because we haven't seen her have a match for, like you guys said, how many years? And most wrestlers who actually do it all the time, if they're away for like less than a year, they've got ring rust that they still have to work out, which means I'm not expecting it to be like Natalia good.
No, not at all.
No, not at
I'm
all.
expecting it to be about Funkadactyl level.
Pretty much. And at the same time, you also have to consider if they're going to pull the trigger on that inevitable Nikki Bella heel turn that all the little dirt sheets keep talking about, too. But anyway, so do we want to do the news now or do the other shows first and then come back to the news?
Probably do the other shows first.
Do the news.
Okay, we'll have to vote for each way. Richter, you're the tiebreaker.
We'll go to the news.
Very well.
Bless you.
The reason I said the news was because we already hosted one, whereas I'll just let him keep hosting a little bit.
Fair enough. Let's go to some news.
Let's go to the news.
Hooray. Now, first of all, I didn't talk much about this on... Indeed.
I was
I
going to
didn't
say,
talk
since
much-
you mentioned it during the Raw thing, do you want to start with the titles?
I'm going to get there.
Wow, your dick.
It's on the list. Anyway, first thing I want to mention is we didn't talk about this much during the Raw portion of the program, but there was a last man standing match between Roman Reigns and Kane that I did not find to be very good.
That match was actually pretty good, I have to admit. I thought it was decent.
It was. I expected more out of Kane.
Not when they book him to be the beat slut.
I know, that's the problem. It's like, okay, it's fucking Kane. If you're going to book Kane to be a beat slut, fine. But don't book Kane to be a beat slut in a last man standing match. That's like one of his specialties.
Two things. One, they book him, as Marcus put it, as like the beat slut. And two, as much as I'm a big fan of Kane, I like Kane, I got his mask and stuff like that, I do like Kane. He's past it now. We know he's past it.
Yeah, pretty
I
much.
was also
Just putting on a good match is pretty much gone. But over to Marcus.
Yeah, I was going to say also, I would agree with you, Jim. If it wasn't for what transpired after the match, because of that, I'm okay with what they did with him, because it's like, okay, that sells what came after the match. If they had booked him strong, what came after the match wouldn't have worked as well as it did.
Right, that's what we didn't mention. There was a segment after the match where Kane was seen in the back with Stephanie, and he took the mask off and gave it back to her and walked off.
Which, as Mole pointed out, is kind of gross, because it's covered with fucking bald man sweat.
Yeah, well.
And if it helps, once he took the mask off, he did revert back to being Stanley Ipkiss.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
But did he sound bald when he was talking?
He didn't speak.
Oh.
No.
Yeah.
But it was
Yeah,
implied baldness.
It was implied.
Yeah.
Did he act bald?
Yeah. Or
Yeah.
because he still has a tiny bit of hair at the back, he's technically a hybrid.
Those
There
damn
you go.
halvesies.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, you lazy bastard, choose a side.
Indeed. So, Kane is once again maskless, and as a reminder, See No Evil 2, coming out in October.
That's
May
probably why they
19th.
did that.
That should come out May 19th again.
Yeah,
It should.
it should come out May 19th. Or it could, if it either A, they've done that for the film, or B, we don't know yet. Kane could just be taking a break for a little bit.
He might be.
It could be.
But anyway, over the course of this match, whether this was Kane fucking up, Roman Reigns not protecting himself properly, I don't know what. But at some point in the match, Roman Reigns face slammed into a ring post and he got his freaking skull gashed open. And he required 6 staples to put it back together.
Also, it's also worth noting that at SummerSlam, I predict, in a hilarious way which won't actually come true.
What are you talking about? Are you talking about Summerfest?
Yeah, I said at SummerSlam, I'm predicting in a way which I know won't come true. I'm just joking a bit, but still, I want Stephanie to wear the Kane mask to her match, and I want her to win with a tombstone or a chokeslam.
Yes, Stephanie with the powers of Kane. I approve.
And when she gets up, she's going to lift up her arms and do the boom with all 4 corners.
I would say chokeslam. I would say do not allow her to do a tombstone. We do not want Brie Bella to become like Daniel Bryan.
Instead of fire shooting out of the ring post, can it like explode and like fake money comes down?
Yes.
There you go. But yeah, so Roman Reigns, there was some lovely photos of his forehead gashed open and the staples he was required to have. But apparently it wasn't that bad because staples and whatever he was able to wrestle on SmackDown. So there you go. Anywho, that was the first thing. The second thing we're going to talk.
Staples are only bad if New Jack's the one doing them.
No, God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We're not going to talk about New Jack. That's a subject for an editorial of another day.
Oh, we can't talk about the black wrestler. I see how it is.
Well, we already talked about Mark Henry and R-Truth. We've met our quota for the night.
Oh, so now they're exactly the same as New Jack because they're black. Racist.
No, those two are actually sane.
Yeah, I think they're not quite as. I don't think anyone's as racist as New Jack.
Except for Jim.
Oh, well, true.
Also,
Yeah,
am I the
speaking
only
of-
one?
also
Yes, because I'm the one that
speaking
gave
of
the
racism,
Asian a 21 gong salute.
Yeah.
Wow.
And like I said, speaking of racism, hi John.
Like he actually watches our stuff.
Yeah.
Am I the only one who was thrown off a little bit by the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers not showing up this week?
No, because this is a show adults watch.
You know who I was talking about.
No, I don't.
I think he was talking about the new Bobby Lashley coalition over there.
Xavier Woods. Yeah. It's like, wait, they didn't actually show up this week. What the hell? That I saw.
I don't know. I don't know why they're Power Rangers, but okay.
Yeah.
Because Xavier
I assume
Woods.
because of Xavier Woods.
Yeah.
He's the leader. He's hailing from Angel Grove.
Yeah.
He sets its morphin time for some of his moves, so I just
Whatever, only him.
Yeah. And if you're wondering about the joke, I called Biggie Bobby Lashley because he looks like Bobby Lashley.
Except he's got a better voice.
Well, yeah.
You take that back, you bastard.
Anyway, so yeah, we'll see. WWE can't seem to decide what they're going to do with them, but we'll find out. I'm sure they'll get some time eventually. Moving on in the news, let's talk about the big thing of the week here. Alberto Del Rio has been fired. So, as to why, aside from blatant racism, here's what happened. So basically, according to the source, as the story goes, this is unconfirmed, but according to LOL Dirt Sheets, there was an altercation with a man by the name of Cody Barbieri, who is apparently WWE's manager of social media live events. According to the source, he was basically asked to wipe his plate clean after having a meal in the catering room, and he allegedly joked that it was Del Rio's job to clean the plates, which many would consider to be racist, obviously. And as the story goes,
Possibly, you didn't tell. Say his name again.
Cody Barbieri.
Does that not sound Mexican?
Barbieri sounds more Italian.
Possibly.
Anywho, so basically he made a joke, oh, it's Del Rio's job to clean the plates, which might be considered racist. So the news of this particular remark got back to Del Rio, who confronted Barbieri about it. And basically he refused to apologize and even grinned in Del Rio's face about it. Del Rio apparently slapped Barbieri in the face.
Did he Del Rio grin? That would be so wonderful.
That would be. Anyway.
He does that shitty grin. Oh man, he has moved or taunt steal.
It's your job to clean the plates, but you already knew that. But anyway, so he hit him in the face, and as a result of this particular altercation, Alberto Del Rio was released. And when it was brought up on Twitter's, WWE replied in regards to the situation, and I quote, Alberto Del Rio is responsible for his own actions. If you're angry at anyone, be angry at Alberto. There is no excuse for a pro athlete not to conduct themselves in a professional manner. And as has been discussed among us off podcast, seems to be a strong possibility, given that seems to be an overreaction for, okay, you hit a dude in the face, but given what he said, you're almost kind of justified. I feel like WWE's in such financial straits, and had nothing for Del Rio, that they felt this was an easy way to get rid of him without having to have a reason.
And by you feel, you mean you're just repeating what I said to you?
Exactly. And I said we.
But it was only I that said that about why they got rid of him.
But only I. Sorry.
Yeah. Although I will say, like I said, I think it's probably due to the budget thing. However, based on the fact that you read his name, and based on the fact we don't know the facts, it could be justified. It could not be. I don't know.
Maybe. I can understand part of it, because I can understand why, okay, Barbieri making a bad joke, yeah, it was tasteless, but Del Rio is an on-air performer and is supposed to be the bigger man in these kind of situations. Okay, and if anything, he could have either A, told the dude off, which would have been fine, or B, if he felt he was being racially discriminated against, he could have told Stephanie or Triple H or somebody in the HR department. He chose not to do that. The fact that he got physical that quickly in an altercation, yeah.
And like I said, assuming it was racist.
Well, I wouldn't necessarily call it bitch slap an altercation.
Well, WWE would.
You have to remember, though, if Barbieri or whatever was smaller than that, Del Rio's not being a star and he's bullying, so.
That's true. That's true.
Regardless of anything else, that's what they would look at.
Yeah.
Except wouldn't the racist remark be considered bullying, so therefore it would have been more self-defense?
It'd be racist, but
yeah, that's verbal bullying.
That's not verbal bullying. That's
Yes, it is.
No, not really.
So-
But also
well, even-
what we heard about the remark, that doesn't sound racist at all. He didn't say like Mexicans are clean. He just said you clean the dishes, like Del Rio as a person.
Yeah,
That's at least my take on it. What we heard, that doesn't sound racist at all.
Fair
Like I
enough.
said, based on his last name as well, it sounds like that dude could either be from Mexico or, like Jim said, be Italian or something. We don't know.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna go on a limb and just say he was not being racist. If that was his exact wording, he was making a WWE Slam City joke in which Alberto is the barista.
That'd be hilarious if that's why he said it. And Del Rio
That'd be
got
great.
fired because he can't even watch himself in something.
There you go. That'd be great.
But that makes no sense. It would have made more sense if that was what he was going for. It would have made more sense for him to say that's Kane's job.
Yeah.
Kane cooks, he doesn't clean.
Yeah, he wasn't the barista.
He does both. He's a fucking lunch lady.
Baristas do both.
Yeah, I think they do. I don't know. I don't been in a coffee shop, but I thought they
Anyway.
do watch them.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving along in the news, yes, Del Rio is fired, and there is heavy rumors. And there is heavy rumors that TNA is trying like fuck to get his phone number because they want to make him the new TNA Heavy World Champion, according to Dave Meltzer of the PW Insider. So that's the thing.
Okay.
And based on who WWE released last week, or the week before, whenever the fuck it was, I wonder if TNA would hire him and give him Ricardo again.
That'd be hilarious.
No, do it the reverse.
Yes,
Oh.
Del Rio is Ricardo's manager.
Or do you reckon now that they're both unemployed, Alberto will go to the unemployment line, and when he's actually going to speak to him, hang on, before I speak to you, allow me to have my personal contract introduced.
Yeah,
That'd be great.
that'd be
Although,
great.
I'm hoping they go to Global Force Wrestling, because
That would be cool.
that needs a big name.
It does. It needs some big names.
I mean, a big current name, because obviously they have Jeff Jarrett,
Well-
Jeff Jarrett, fucking awesome.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I think it'd be awesome if whichever promotion they end up with, if they teamed them together so Ricardo could wrestle. That'd be awesome.
That'd be cool too.
Because I wanted to see him wrestle, and I know Ricardo wanted to wrestle, but in an ironic twist, because Ricardo's such a larger dude, they're like, nah, you're too big. You can't do this shit. And it's like, wait, so the guy who has a hard-on for big men said Ricardo was too big. Dah!
No, you have to realize there's a difference between being. He has knowledge for big guys as in muscular tall dudes, not as in fat dudes.
Cough,
Mick
Mark
Ridley.
Henry cough.
Yeah, Mark Henry's not fat actually. Mark Henry is proportionate to his muscle mass.
Mick Foley?
Yeah, Mick Foley got away with it, yeah, but there's
Big
a
Daddy
reason
V?
that there's a reason they got to the point where even they
Nice
told
to
Big
get
Daddy. Yeah, I'm just saying, when the Big Daddy V thing, they got to the point where they told Big Daddy V, go home and lose some weight, or don't come back, and he didn't come back, and now
And then
he's
he
dead,
died.
sadly. Yeah, which is sad.
And don't they feel bad?
That's also what happened with the X-Pound with Crispy.
Wow.
That is so mean and so funny.
Hey, to be fair, 2 minutes ago I did just also mention my fat CAW.
I know. I just picture him sitting there listening. He just looks all sad. Like he doesn't get mad. He just kind of droops his head.
Mm-hmm.
So sad. So next time you guys have him on XGR, just bring him on and then immediately start playing I'm coming home, I'm coming home. Anyway, moving on with the news. I know that Richter and Mole had some discussion about this on this week's XGR, but since Marcus and I weren't there, we're going to talk a little bit about the WWE 2K15 Limited Hulk Hogan Edition.
Tune over to and make sure to go back in our archive and watch XGR for the good opinions.
Exactly. So,
I got your back, Rick.
Wow, Jim just kind of devalued his own opinion. That takes some skill.
He has his own opinion?
Oh yeah, fair enough.
you should know my opinion is Wikipedia. Come on.
Or what I tell him.
Or what he tells me. So, with the Hulk Hogan edition, I was looking at it. It looks like a pretty cool edition. What?
I just screamed out Vita and you stopped.
Combo
It's the
breaker.
word of power. I know you have that in the next wrestling game. But I scream Vita
Yes.
and like Shazam, the lightning hits him. Vita!
Anyway, I don't usually buy the collector's editions. I know in the past, like I know Mole bought the Undertaker one last year, and I know you guys, some of you guys have bought them in the past. I usually don't. The Hulk Hogan edition does look cool though. You get both Hogans, the NWO Hogan and the more, more
Current
red
Hogan.
the red and yellow Hogan. And some of the stuff that they give you is cool. That I like. This is kind of cheap. Though we're gonna give you a piece of canvas from Hulk Hogan's Raw appearance and the night after WrestleMania. Like yes, because that's the canvas piece that people want. But some of the other, but it looks like a generally cool set. The box it comes in looks pretty cool. So it looks like a nice version of the collection. I can see why Hogan would be a big sell and people would get that. So I can certainly agree with them using that. Marcus Shadow, what do you think?
You gonna tell what's in it, or are you just gonna let the people fend for themselves?
Okay, I'll bring the thing. I'm gonna tell you
Make
what.
it up in their mind.
I'll tell you what's in it. If you're gonna go, hang on a minute, yeesh.
Turn back for XGR for what was in it.
Yeah, exactly. You have to go back to the other show. That's how we get them to watch our other shows. We don't give them the full information. They have to backtrack.
Fair
No,
enough.
we get them to watch the other show by just saying you and Marcus on in it. You're our ratings killer. No.
That's his gimmick.
That's why Marcus has all the Randy Orton's moves. He's the gimmick. He's the ratings killer.
Sounded like you said rabies killer, which I like.
Hey, I will say, Marcus Shadow is officially better than you, Jim.
Ouch.
When we killed you, it took you, what, a week to come back? He came back in less than an hour. He gets props for that. Clearly, it is Marcus Shadow that can rise from the ashes better than you.
No, friends, I had to come back from the grave. He just had to come back from the other side of the border.
And buried
He
in
got-
cement.
He got killed. Yeah, we mentioned he died. And in cement, so he had to get his way out.
All right,
And that was no light work. See? Because he shows you the light.
And because he's fat.
Oh, I get
Anyway.
it.
He's not fat, he's just festively plump.
Fair enough. So anyway, the Hulk Hogan Special Edition of 2K15 on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One will cost $99.99. And will include a copy of the game, obviously, premium Hulk Hogan packaging, a collectible art card that will be hand signed by Hulk Hogan, an exclusive Funko Hollywood Hulk Hogan vinyl figure, which I know Mole desperately wants, an actual piece of the ring canvas from Hogan's Monday Night Raw appearance on March 10th, 2014, the night after WrestleMania, 2 playable pre-order launch exclusive Hulk Hogans, and of course the 2 playable Sting characters that you get with any pre-order. Only 25,000 copies of that edition will be released.
Yep, and like I said, it's going to cost £80 over here because they only just gave the price like the last day or two.
Fair enough.
And I will be pre-ordering that tomorrow.
Yeah, I said I'll get the regular edition. I never really buy these, even though these limited editions look cool. I never really buy them. It just seems like I like extraneous stuff, but I just don't have the extra money to spend that on a game. Even though some of the extra stuff is cool, unless they come out with a Y2J edition one of these years, I'm not going to be buying it.
I'll admit, personally speaking, like I've said in the past, I buy all the collector's editions for the WWE games, but I never buy them all, and I rarely buy them just because I'm like, yeah, everything else is cool. I buy them just to get the characters on day one, because with the wrestling game, I want every character. It's why I also get fan access and shit.
Fair enough. Speaking of the game, and Richter, you might be interested to know some of this.
Mhm.
Although you already know.
Now.
No, you already know it. You were on XGR. You probably talked about it already.
I was.
Yeah, so you already know. Normally we have to fill you in. But yeah, so the 2 of the game's modes were discussed.
Cement.
Yes. 2 of the game's modes were discussed, including the new story mode, which will be known as 2K Showcase. And that's going to include a more focused, up-close personal story that will have 2 different episodes, each focusing on a major rivalry from WWE history. And their career mode has been lifted from NBA 2K14 and adapted to the WWE environment. No additional details are available on that yet as it relates to NXT being in there or whatever else they might do. We also have some screen caps out. As of when this news was broken, we had a screen cap tweeted by John Cena of himself in the game with what appears to be the back of Randy Orton's arm in the foreground, And just recently, just in the last day or two, we've gotten some shots of what appears to be Randy Orton in the same match from the opposite side of the ring perspective.
It's also worth pointing out it's unlikely that the NXT one will be in there.
Fair enough.
Because on the description that 2K gave us, they basically said for that mode, one of the reasons it's exclusive to PS4 and Xbox One is because all of the superstars from WWE Raw and SmackDown who are in it have all been scanned.
Mm-hmm.
So it didn't sound like they mentioned NXT with the superstars from.
Fair enough.
It's still possible, though.
Yeah, anything's possible. So that's your 2K15 news for the week. And we'll keep you, of course, up to date on both this podcast and the XGR as more news regarding that breaks.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe even around the pound.
Maybe. Who knows? By the way, Mo, will we be doing what will be our coverage of the game upon its release?
People will find out near the time.
Fair enough. Stay tuned.
Because it's hard to negotiate everyone's schedules. Or as Stacey would put it, it's hard to negotiate everyone's schedule.
Yeah.
Amazeballs!
Ha.
Or, as we accurately do on XGR, Amazeballs!
There you go. Next thing in the list of news here. Apparently, as was mentioned in last week's program, or would have been had I been there, a photo has been circulating around the internet of, at one of the WWE Live events, a fan saw the large production truck that had the Usos on the side of it and the big SmackDown logo, and decided to get a photo with it. Ooh, photo! He posted the photo. And the photo has been circulating around online because it's been noted that the truck in question advertises that you should come watch SmackDown on Sci-Fi Network's Thursday nights at 8. Leading most people to believe, especially given that there's been no denial of such a thing, that at some point here when the new TV season kicks on, SmackDown will be moving to Thursday nights on Sci-Fi as opposed to its current slot of Friday night. As a result of...
It's a misprinted truck.
Nah. Okay. Well, anyway, as a result of all this rumors flying around, apparently TNA is now shitting themselves. Because as you may or may not be aware, Impact also airs on Thursday nights. And they're now concerned of the drastic loss of potential viewership that competing head-to-head with SmackDown might have on their program.
Oh, that's ironic.
What?
Alberto could go to TNA, and his show could not be watched because people are tuning into SmackDown, in which he used to be part of the roster.
Like he was the headliner of SmackDown for a couple years there. And combined with the fact that the company hasn't heard anything official from Spike TV regarding the future of Impact even having a home on television, a lot of people are panicking over there, panicking about their jobs.
Which I will say, it's always a shame when a company like that goes under because there is a lot of jobs there. And as much as we joke about TNA, it's still always beneficial to have a company like that than not to have it, because it means for someone like, say, Alberto, who's just recently been fired or whatever, they actually still have a place they can go and work. So that's kind of cool. Hopefully they fix it.
Yep. Or hopefully they cancel it. Jeff Jarrett buys half the good half of the roster and then puts them all on his new show and gets the time slot.
Yeah, well, that'd still be a lot of jobs.
Yeah. Anyway, in addition
to the reason.
So, in addition to this, there was also, again, that further news of regarding the TNA potential losing their time slot. It's been stated that Spike TV officials have been at the last 2 taping sessions, and there's been heavy rumors that Spike TV might be interested, if they're going to continue carrying the program, in actually buying a stake of Impact Wrestling as a company, TNA as a company, and therefore, if they did so, obviously they would probably keep it on the air. And that some are thinking that might be a good sign that Spike TV might want to renew it, and they just might not be able to have enough confidence in it on its own. So it'll be interesting to see where that goes and if the company's able to survive.
Fair enough.
The current TV contract for TNA is set to expire in October, so we'll see exactly what happens October forward. 2 other news things to mention. The first one is, and this is just a bad idea all around, but in an interview with, I don't remember what the fuck podcast radio show he was being interviewed by, not really that important, but in a podcast radio interview, Hulk Hogan mentioned that his back has had no pain in it and he's been training like crazy for a return to the ring. He said he wants to wrestle again. Whether WWE will let him is another story.
I'm gonna say it. That's not a bad thing. While Hogan himself may be past it, Hogan himself may not be that good, and I don't expect his matches to be that good. However, if you put Hulk Hogan versus John Cena at WrestleMania, the tickets will sell and WWE will make a shit ton of money, which they desperately need.
Mm-hmm.
And therefore, everyone in WWE would get to keep their jobs. It's very beneficial.
Yes. They'll make even more money when in the middle of the match, The Rock runs in and rock bottom Cena and costs him the match.
Harry's actually being serious.
Fair enough.
I think that would actually.
You're right. That would sell a fuck ton of tickets. You're right. Yeah. That would sell a hell of a lot of tickets. That would be great. Personally, I'd like to.
And if they did it that way as well, some people may be like, "Oh crap, the tickets are sold out. Where are we gonna go?" And what? Either buy it on pay-per-view or $9.99 network.
Exactly.
$9.99.
Oh, you can eat shrimp. So.
All for 3 easy payments.
But wait, there's more.
Did you say 3 payments? Oh wait, wrong thing. That's when IRS acts.
Order right now. We'll throw in a free Marcus Shadow.
Marcus Shadow vinyl toy. I want one.
There you go. And in the final thing to mention here tonight, if you want to see it, go on to Google Images. I'm sure you can find it. But a picture has been circulating around of Triple H at what appears to be a photo shoot with the new WWE Championship title. That it basically looks just like the old one, except that the scratch logo has been replaced with the new pointed logo, straight logo. So, looks pretty nice. Like I said, the image is out there. You can find it. In fact, I'll put a link in the description at the bottom. That way you can see it. How about that? Make it easy for you. So check it out down there. And in addition to that, it's also been heavily stated that WWE ordered a complete new set of titles for the whole company. All the titles are being replaced to have the new logo on them. Whether this will include any further aesthetic changes, we don't know. I would doubt the IC and US titles would get much changes, only because there's heavy rumors that they want to unify those titles very soon in some type of a Miz versus Sheamus feud. So we'll see if that plays out. But please redesign the tag titles, please.
And the Divas
Well, if they're gonna
titles.
unify the U.S. and Intercontinental titles, then I would say there's a very good chances of a complete title redesign, because that title is the one that will probably be unveiled when the titles are united.
Well, like I said, but they wanted to get the new logos out on the day. I think on the day after, or like the week after SummerSlam, when the new logo kicks in. They want the titles to have that logo, so they'd probably have to have a title out before the unification, which is why they may do like a redesign on the IC title to make it look really nice and cool, and then just a logo change on the US title, just long enough for them to get away with it until they unify.
So let me get this straight. The company that's having money issues is willing to blow all this money on a title to basically commission art and build this new title, 2 new titles that are just going to be unified in a couple months down the road. Yeah, and you wonder why WWE is having money issues.
To be fair with that, all WWE has to do is take the old titles and put them up on eBay or the WWE auction thing, and boom, money back.
Yeah, pretty much.
I don't think it would cover the cost of creating 2 new ones. Well, technically 3 new ones, because you have to create a third one to replace them both.
Yeah, but if they're replacing each one they replace, they'd put an auction.
Yeah, but I don't know. Just to me, if they're gonna unify the titles and replace them in short order, economically speaking, it makes 0 sense to do a complete redesign now, or to get new titles now. It's like, no, you're already having money issues. Just fucking wait. Who cares if it's out at that point in time? Nobody cares. You're the only one that cares, WWE. It's not going to make you any more money to waste money on titles. And to me, yes, that is a waste.
And I will also say, I want I half want the Divas title to be redesigned, and I half don't.
Oh,
just because I don't like the look of the Divas title.
Yes, so I was wondering about the half don't.
Half don't would be because while I don't like half of the design, those titles are ultimately designed. Like, you've got the tag team ones, I've got a couple of world ones and stuff like that before now of the toy replicas, and the person who would buy that toy would be girls. Girls like young girls do like that design, and it makes them buy the toy.
Does your niece have that belt, Mole?
She does.
Nice.
Twice.
See, I want it to be replaced by the NXT Women's title because I think that's a far superior design and it's feminine enough. Like you look at it and I look at it and I'm like, okay, A, it looks like a wrestling championship belt, but B, it looks like something a girl would wear. I'm not gonna lie. I'm like, yeah, I can see it. I could see a girl using it as an accessory.
Like I said, to me personally, the NXT one looks better. However, to someone like my niece's age and stuff like that, hell, I know for a fact like Richter has like a little daughter and stuff. Richter, how likely is it your daughter would want a title, like the WWE title, if it's got a giant like feminine butterfly made up like 90% of the title?
If it was pink, yes.
Yeah, like the Divas one. That's the reason they wanted it. I prefer the women's title for what they used to have, or the NXT one. But the reason they've got the NXT one like that is girls like it because to them it's very girly.
Very true.
And sadly, the other ones they get away with the boys because the boys will want the titles anyway to be like John Cena.
Yeah, and in all fairness to the Divas title, at least it has the prestigious position of never having been split in half.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, that devalued the women's title ridiculously.
I don't know. Like I said, I think the NXT Women's title is a good compromise between the two aesthetics, to the point that I think girls would want that. Maybe not really, really, really young girls, but like, preteens and teens. I could see them wanting that because it looks chic, it looks hip, it looks like something you could go to like a fucking, I don't know, like Louis Vuitton store and buy.
And
Which they're all into these days.
I do agree, except for the thing with that is the toy belts. Not a lot of teenagers buy them. It's mainly the young girls that play with toys. Same thing with the belts.
Mm-hmm.
Fair enough.
Which is a
anyway,
shame. But...
Yeah, it is. But anyway, that's all I have for the news, so let's go back over to our Hemi host.
All right, so next up...
morning as he stays at home. I'm get up at night as he stays at home.
Wow,
Thank you.
He doesn't want a jingle.
So yeah, why don't we'll go over to Mole and he'll tell us about any NXT or Divas news from the UK.
Yep, I didn't have NXT this week, but I do have the Total Divas again. This week's Total Divas was split into 3 storylines. Yep, one of which does not actually have a beginning, a middle, and an end like the other ones. But I'm going to go with my least favourite, and the reason it's my least favourite is not because of not because of who's in it. It's just because of it's my least favourite. Trinity, or as she's known, Naomi, and Jimmy Uso were having issues.
Oh dear.
Because Trinity wants to take off her engagement ring for photo shoots and stuff because it makes her look more sexy if she's not got a ring on her finger. Jimmy really wanted her to have it on. Although there is a part where it cut to their matchup where it was the Funkadactyls and Tons of Funk against the Usos and the Bellas, and Trinity gets a stare down with Jimmy Uso. And you see like Eve Marie and JoJo in the crowd being like, "Oh God, no, no!" And then she looks mad. Oh no! And then Trinity goes to walk away, and she runs and quickly does like this Hurricanrana thing, which looked a little awkward. The move itself, however, it does make sense because once she did the move, Jimmy Uso was sat down. You actually see subtitles of him as he's mouthing, "What the hell was that? What the hell was that for?" And she gets told off for it because she wasn't supposed to do that move to him. She just chose to hit her boyfriend. But at the end of it, we find out that Trinity was acting this way because her past boyfriend cheated on her and she has commitment issues. So they worked out and she's more willing to be Jimmy Uso's engaged, like, like his fiance and actually get married and stuff. So, yay. That was story 1. Any thoughts?
It's kind of funny that she Hurricanrana'd him and it shows him go, "What was that for?"
Yeah, and it does. And he's like in the corner with, "What the hell was that for?" And with subtitles so you can make it out. I'm like, that's awesome. But the next one is probably my favorite of the week, but it's not the one I will talk about the most because the other one was more there was more stuff in the other one.
Right.
But my favorite this week was they were learning how to take moves on NXT with, I think it was Bill DeMont was teaching them, and JoJo did not tuck her neck properly when she got body slammed and she smacked her head on the mat. She started to vomit and throw up and stuff because she had a concussion. And we find out that's why, because she didn't tuck the head, which in itself, just that one little part there, I liked because they're showing you more of the realism of wrestling, like what can go wrong, and the fact the moves aren't as we think. It's not just like kids on the playground. You can't just walk up to someone on the playground, pick them up, body slam them, and expect them to be okay.
Yeah.
Which, that's kind of cool. You hardly see that side of WWE. But then we meet JoJo's boyfriend, who seemed really cool at first. Because at first, he went there and he took her on the beach and he spoke to her and he's doing all this romantic crap and he's seeing if she's okay, and that's cool. Then he tried to make her choose between her job and him. Because he didn't like her being on the road and all this. Which poor JoJo was in tears as he left. And she was actually genuinely torn between what to do. And in this segment, you even saw Natalya acting like a proper mentor, like giving her advice, teaching Diva's moves and stuff as well. And that was pretty cool. That one didn't actually have a conclusion. We didn't actually see which one she picked. Although we know if you look at, like, I don't know, go to Wikipedia or fucking WWE.com and see if she's a part of the roster, and she is. JoJo. But yeah, it's a case of, I thought that was kind of an interesting and one of the most real stories that they've told on this so far, and that's kind of cool. I also liked it because JoJo, the other previous weeks I didn't mention it because the previous weeks JoJo wasn't, you know what I mean, her own story. She was just there as Eve Marie's friend during her segments. But this week Eve Marie was the friend and JoJo got her story, so yay. Any thoughts?
It's kind of cool to see the more realistic side now, I'll admit. That sounds like it was a pretty cool segment.
And the main one, Brie and Daniel Bryan are moving. Brie chose not to tell Nikki that she was moving, and when she did, Nikki did not take it well. Not at all. Though Brie did make it worse by forgetting to show up to a movie meeting they had for a movie, and she didn't show up. And when Nikki asked her why, Brie was like, "I'm sorry, I've completely forgot. I'm busy packing." That did not make it better. The Bellas were bickering all episode and taking shots at each other and stuff like that. And I will say, last week edited the preview in an extremely misleading way. I just need to get this out here. Because like I mentioned last week with how they edited Cena, he looked like a complete hypocritical twat. Not at all. In fact, what actually happened with the thing with him basically saying to Nikki do you have any idea how selfish something like that was? He was actually referring to Nikki herself telling Daniel Bryan and Brie she hated them because, as she put it, their moving takes away from me. Which, that whole scene was actually pretty cool. Cena seemed like a regular dude and stuff, and he's talking to her, and she goes, "Yeah, I don't know, I just don't like Bryan at the moment." And Cena's like, "Why?" And she's like, "Because I don't know, he's always thinking about himself and Brie." And he's like, "Wait, so he's thinking about himself and his partner? How's that bad?" And then that's when Nikki went, "It's taken away from me." And Cena's like, "Do you have any idea how selfish something like that is to say?" Which, that was actually pretty cool. He even talks about how you need to give Bryan a second chance. Bryan's a great guy. He tries harder than anyone in the ring. He mentions, and as well as that, he's also one of the most nicest guys you will talk to in this business. You need friends like Bryan, and he's always going to protect your sister. Which I was like, that's actually really nice. And at the end of the episode, they actually made up, and ironically, they made up thanks to Cena and Bryan. Because when they're making up and Nikki's apologizing because of what Cena said to him and stuff, Brie's and like, "Okay, and that's fine, and I actually totally see your side." And she's like, "You do?" "Yeah, because after you said the stuff you said and you left, Brian actually said to me that you should kind of see things from her perspective. She's not upset that you're happy or upset that you're moving. She's upset because she's losing her sister. You and her are extremely close. She's not upset that you're moving. She's upset that this bond between you may actually change. And I was like, that's kind of cool. And this is an extremely real thing with how they moved and how they acted and stuff. And that was cool as fuck. And like I said, Daniel Bryan and Cena get a round of applause in my book because they acted normal and pretty much like stand-up guys. So, yay. So that was Total Divas this week.
I approve of that. That sounded actually pretty awesome.
Fair enough.
Mm-hmm.
Like as I said, we give John Cena and Daniel Bryan.
Now, I still want to say, I still think it was dickish for him last week to say about the house straight after he left. That was mean and dickish. But this week, it showed more of the nice Cena everyone knows and sees in like backstage stuff. So that's kind of cool. But yeah,
but I think the 2 episodes also show that Cena's not perfect. He is human, regardless of what you may think. He is still human, and he's got, human foibles, if you will.
I just want to say, the X-Pound cannot confirm nor deny John Cena is a human. I'm kidding with that, but yeah, it did show he was human and stuff. And it does show most of them human, and I love the fact, like, when you see Brie with Daniel, she's actually referring to him as Bryan Danielson at one point, and she refers to him by his real name, so you get even more of a sense of it's not staged, which that's kind of cool. So, but yeah, I believe this week was episode, I want to say 3 of season 1 of Total Divas that aired here, and so obviously coming up tomorrow over here is the Sundays, and it's episode 4. And I just turn over to my planner right now, and I can tell you, for those of you in the UK, it is on the E Network, and I'm recording it at 6 p.m. The preview for next week, which worries me straight away, says the fat twin, Nikki. It says the fat twin. It says Nikki worries about her weight when Brie and social media call her fat. And Aureline, which is the other Funky actor, also Cameron, considers breast implants, while Natalia wants more romance from her fiance, TJ. So yay. It's a Natalia story next week, yay. And I'm sorry, I want to say for the record right now, before next week, which I'll probably go into more next week, calling Nikki Bella fat is fucking ridiculous. Yeah. I'm fat. She ain't fat.
Ugly, yeah, she's definitely the ugly Bella, but she's not fat.
Yeah, she's not fat, and even when we call her ugly, we are joking. And that would go more into the things like we mentioned before. Now, if I kind of do hate the societal pressure that they keep putting on women like that of, oh, Nikki, you need to look even skinnier. She's fucking skinny.
Yeah, really.
Let this shit go.
Yeah.
God damn it.
But speaking of pleasing shapes, what shall we say, wet the whistle or appetizers, back to our host.
All right, so I think that's everything this week in wrestling, correct?
Mm-hmm. I just want to mention quickly, I noticed that on SmackDown, apparently Big Show and Mark Henry are a tag team now, so keep your eye open for the slowest, most boring tag team matches you've ever seen.
World's slowest team.
Or, as we at the X-Men like to call them, Vince's wet dream.
That's true.
It's Stephanie?
Oh!
Oh, sorry, we're not allowed to bring up the cancelled incest plan. Sorry, my bad.
Well, but
we
you
should
talk
someday.
about it, I don't think it's cancelled, Mole.
Oh, yeah. But, so I'd like to thank everyone for joining us for another WXR. And I believe next week is also Saturday, right? Because the pay-per-view is 2 weeks, I believe Jim said.
That is correct.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so
SummerSlam, SummerSlam will be occurring on Sunday, the 24th of August.
All right, so next week will be Saturday night, same WXR time, and hope to see you all there. Thank you for joining us. Good night.
Oh no, wait, actually I lied. It's SummerSlam's on the 17th. Cancel what the host just said. I was wrong. I fucked up.
Oh, so that's next week then. Okay.
So next week you will see this program on Sunday night at approximately 10 p.m. Eastern Time. And we will cover the week and we will talk about SummerSlam.
Oh, man.
That also
I got
means
gored.
next week, get ready for massive WWE 2K15 news.
Indeed, we will have a roster reveal to discuss.
Massive news, as in roster.
Yeah.
Well, they may say other things. You never know what they're going to say at that panel, because it is a panel, so they may talk about more than just the roster.
It's called the roster reveal.
Yes, that's going to be the primary focus of the panel. That is to mean that's the only thing that's going to be discussed at the panel.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, good night, everybody.
Oh, yes. Oh, that reminds me. If anybody's interested in knowing, at the SummerSlam panel, by the way, some famous artist is going to be painting Stone Cold Steve Austin. So, check that out.
And it will be done in the Titanic way.
No.
By Jackson Pollock.
Yeah,